Beautiful. All right, guys. Well, one, just excited to be back out here, right? Excited for the start of fall camp. Another season here. It's been outstanding. It starts with really upstairs with the cohesion that we've really developed on offense with our offensive staff. We've got a lot of continuity over the last couple of years, and then the guys who have added in, it's been an unbelievable mix. A lot of guys bringing great thought, great ideas, and just bringing so much to the table. And I think that carries over to the players, the time that we have together as an offensive staff and how we interact with each other. And then downstairs, right, and with our players and the interaction of our staff with them, and watching those guys work together and how hard they worked all off season to get ready for this moment. And we're challenging them, right? We're challenging them to push themselves harder than they ever pushed. We're challenging them to do new things and different ways to attack defenses, and right and having to respond to all the different things that Coach Baker's given us and our defensive players. So it's been fun first few days. Really excited about the rest of camp, but it's a process, right? We got to stay one day at a time. We got to get better every single day, and right now our guys are understanding that process.
Hey, Joe. Mac Markway leaving. Can you kind of assess where your tight end room is right now and how you replace his skill set with the guys you got in the room?
We have an unbelievable group in that room. Coach Nagel's doing a great job with those guys. The improvement that Mason Taylor's made going in from his second year to his third year this offseason and watching his progression in his route running, really doing an unbelievable job with his base. And then as you watch the growth of Kamari Pimpton and the growth of Trey'Dez Green already, and we got other guys in that room, right? Giovanni Peterson, who's been in this program now for a couple years and just continuing to work with our process and get better, and make improvements. That group is one of the most exciting groups on our football team. So I can't say enough about where we're going with that room and how those guys are working together, how they're pushing each other. And we've seen a lot of growth in the first 6 practices. I expect to see the same thing over the next several.
Hey, Coach. How you doing?
Hey, Jock. Nice. You're repping the Rogaroo.
I am. Ronnie paid me a little on the side. As you build this offense around Garrett, can you just speak to, it's nothing new, but just his ability to make every throw and his arm strength and his ability to push the ball down the field? Garrett's
a high processor, right? He processes information really quickly. And then he has the arm talent to get it to that place and the creativity, right? He's able to do that. The biggest thing for Garrett, right, and I think you guys have seen that, right? I mean, the growth over the last several years and just being process-oriented. That's what I've been really proud of him. He's been really focused on his process. He's been focused on little things and allowing the big things to happen. That's been really the things that I've enjoyed watching him, and then I've watched him grow as a leader this offseason and how he's really been able to let it happen naturally, right, and let his work speak for itself, but also be the vocal leader right when he needs to be. We're obviously going to do things that allow him to be successful. We're going to put him in positions, right, to use that arm, to use his decision-making ability. But you're going to see a lot of the same things, and then right, we're always going to build it around our personnel. We're going to build it around him, right, and put him in position over time, right? What is he successful with throughout August? What was he successful with in spring? What do we feel like our other guys can do? Because it's not just him, but obviously it always is definitely what can the quarterback do the best, and we're going to put him in that position. But I think you're seeing our offense start to come together around him schematically.
Hey, Coach, over here. I got 2 questions. Starting with the first one. There's been a lot more sets involving 2 tight ends, and some of them have been out wide. What allows you to do those type of sets?
We got all types of sets, right? You know what I mean? So everybody listening out there, we got everything. We got them all. The more, as we recruit, right, when Coach Kelly got here, we want to recruit players that allow us to attack a defense in so many different ways. I think you saw us last year, right? We had a couple of really elite players on the perimeter, and we were able to attack guys in certain ways, right? We're always going to build, though, as we continue to grow. We started out talking about that room. If those guys give us an opportunity to do different things, we're going to use them, right? And we're going to put them in position to be successful. And obviously tight ends always are fun, right? They add a different element to the offense, especially when you have guys who can do multiple things. So it's been good to watch. Everybody's got to keep getting better. We're going to keep being aggressive. We're going to be aggressive in the run game, right? We're going to attack people, and we're going to be aggressive on the perimeter. So, if we need to do that, in multiple different sets with multiple different people, we're going to do that.
And my second question is, one of the things that stood out this fall camp has been the defense. What have you seen from an offensive perspective, how they've improved, and also how does that help you prepare for the season?
Well, the thing is, when we're out at practice, the better we play and the more things that we give our defense to defend, right, and vice versa, the better, right, the whole team rises, right? And that's what we want. We want that level of competition every day at practice, right, where we're all pushing each other to get better. I think Blake's package is challenging in so many different ways. There's pressure looks from all over the place, but yet they can play a base defense, right, and they can challenge the line of scrimmage and get vertical. They got a lot of different coverage things in the back end. He makes it simple for our guys. So I think that what that allows is everything that he asks them to do, they can be physical, they can be violent, they can be aggressive, they can run to the football. And I think you're seeing that, right? And you're seeing that swagger, right, start to really show. And it's been fun. It's been fun, right? And it's challenging, right? And we go out, and all of a sudden, hey, we win one, right? Hey, you know what? They win one. But we're just going to stick to our process, right, and keep challenging each other and keep raising the level of play. But it's definitely been exciting to watch and been challenging for our guys to have to pick up all the different things.
Hey, Joe. What were some of the things that Caleb Jackson needed to do in the offseason and through fall camp to be a more integral part of the offense?
When you watch, right, everybody saw last year, Caleb, when he was able to get the football, and especially once he broke the first level or second level, he's a punishing back. He is hard to tackle. He runs, he gets his pads down on contact, and he's able to drive his feet, and he's a powerful human. So really the big thing was the growth from being a freshman, right? Being a freshman playing running back, there's so many different things to running back. It's not just get the ball and run. There's, right, how is this run scheme fitting against the block, against the defense that we're seeing, right, and where's the ball going to fit, and keeping my eyes up and understanding my read, right, and being able to hit the proper hole. It's pass protection and being able to pick up whatever the defense gives me as we make checks. So all those different little things are the things that he's been able to attack in the offseason. You remember, he got here last summer. He wasn't an early enrollee, so everything happened so fast for those guys. And when you start getting in that box and having to pass protect and having to understand different, where different runs might fit, that's a lot. So his talent was showing, right? But now I think what you're seeing how he is a complete running back, right, is going to start to come into his own. It's been fun to watch. I think he worked really hard from spring ball till now, right, on his body and being prepared for what the season is going to be for the running back position. And I think all the guys did. I mean, you watch what Josh has done. He's such a professional. He gives us such a sense of stability, and he's a great player. He's a great player. And then what John Emery's done, coming back and working off an injury, and how he's been locked in every day and showing up every day and staying in the moment has been awesome. And then Caden, as a freshman, is really far ahead of what freshmen usually are at that position. I think he shows an ability to make plays, ability to make runs, but also be able to play in the game. Right, be able to play in the game. He's not just a talent. Right, he's already shown the ability to be a running back. So it's a great room. It's been fun to watch Coach Wilson and Corday Hankton work with those guys. I think every single day they're challenging them, and the group of guys work really well together. So it's been good to see. Today was the first day of tackling, right? So we'll get some more opportunities, I'm sure, in the future, and continuing to see those guys get an opportunity to make those plays, right, when they have to be tackled, and now all of a sudden that adds a different element, right, to practice.
Joe, along that same vein, the offensive line, what kind of luxury, I guess is the right word, maybe, I don't know, to have that much experience? What does it allow you to do in the run game? How diversified can you make this offense? How much do you listen to them? And then, if I can, just you're using the handset at practice. What's the evolution of that?
So, one, our offensive line, I think, has been talked about probably as much as anything throughout this offseason, and rightfully so. There's some special guys up there who have played in a lot of games and seen a lot of different things. I think Coach Davis has done just a fabulous job of creating a standard in that room and creating it through players, right? Where it's a standard that's developed through the players in that room, and they're the ones that are leading it. And that's when you have a special group. And that's what we've seen. And obviously, Will and Emery, and Emery and Will get spoken about so much, but Miles, right? And Deli. And then how DJ, as a young guy, has stepped in, and just the consistency and accountability that he has and the work ethic. And then to the second group right now, all those guys, and you can see the standard of the first group pulling those younger guys. And that's what's exciting, right? That's how you build a culture in a room. But I said the other day to somebody asked me a similar question, and I said the same thing. We're going to use our playmakers to make plays, right? And if our offensive line has the ability, right, to understand what they're seeing, process that information, and attack it, right, physically and violently, right, and we can put them in different situations to be successful and use their ability, right, to learn, be physical, and to run, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. And I think that's where, a lot of times when you're building an offense or when you're calling plays, you have to think about, hey, I need to protect this guy, or I need to protect that guy, or hey, that might be too much for us. And I think we've been able to challenge them so that we can attack people in a lot of different ways and make sure we can put the ball in the belly of the back a little bit. So that's been fun, and obviously that carries over to pass pro too. So it's definitely been something we challenged them with this offseason, and I think they've rose to the occasion and more. And the headset, the headset. Well, it allows me to talk, right? Which probably sometimes is, but that's all right. I get to yell sometimes too, right? When they do this with their helmet, that's good, right? No, the microphone, in the game just adds a different dimension. Right, and I think you're going to see people use it in a lot of different ways, and use it creatively, use it to attack the defense operationally, and we're absolutely going to do that. Right, we're absolutely going to do that. You still got to let the guys go play. Right, we're not in there telling, oh, hey, throw it here or throw it there or anything like that. Right, I don't want to do that. They need to go play quarterback. What we're going to use it for is to where we can attack people in different ways at different tempos, and use that. Right, use it to our benefit. And we've thought about some different creative ways and talked to some different people. Obviously, the NFL's been doing this, right, for several years. Their game's a little bit different than ours. But I think you're seeing some different guys across college football have some good ideas, and we'll definitely do that. And there'll be an evolution to it, right? There'll be an evolution to it. But it definitely simplifies, and it allows your quarterback, I think, to just hear the play a lot earlier than having to wait for the signal. That's been a huge benefit.
Joe over here. Some changes on offense, communication with the helmet. If it doesn't get in within 15 seconds, what's plan B? Secondly, iPads and tablets on the sidelines. And then thirdly, 2-minute warning before and the first half and the end of the game. Strategy, how does that change because of those rules?
Yeah, so one, with the helmet, right? With anything that you're using, you always have to have a plan, then you have to have contingency plans, right? Just as anything in football, right? Hey, we got to have contingency plans for injuries. We got to have contingency plans for, whatever might happen, whatever might come up. So now that the earpiece is something, we have to have a contingency plan for that not happen. So we'll do periods throughout camp where we say, hey, headsets down for 4 plays, right? And now the quarterback's back out there on an island. The positive thing about Garrett, right, being our quarterback, is he's played a lot of football and been here for a long time. So he's been in college, and he's been used to getting plays in that manner. Right? So for him, it won't be a massive adjustment. But, it's still, right? I mean, you get used to hearing it in your ear, and it changes, right? And we have to be prepared for that, and we will, right? We will, but it's just another contingency plan we have to attack. The iPads on the sideline, I think, is awesome. I think what it does for us is, hey, we think we just saw something, and we don't have to go. We don't have to. Hey, Deli, was that guy a G or was he a shade? Right? He was a 3. What'd you see? We get to see it. So there's no. It eliminates some of that conversation of confirmation of what were the very minor nuances of what might have been going on, especially in the box, right? In the tackle box. So we'll use it a lot for that, to make sure we're correct there and make our corrections. But our corrections are going to be the same way that we were correcting and coaching on the sideline. Because game day is about our guys going to play, right? And we don't want to create anxiety, right, or the old paralysis by analysis type of situation on the sideline. That's go play, man. You've worked, you've prepared all week, go play. So we're going to use it for confirmation of, hey, what we're saying, but we're not going to, it's not going to be a meeting. We're not going to go, cut on the film room, right, and create that type of environment. We're going to absolutely create the game day environment and make sure that their physicality and their aggression and their attack mindset stays in place. What was your third question? 2 minutes before half. You know what? Here's the great part. Coach Kelly, he's awesome at that stuff, so I let him figure that out, and I just figure out my stuff. But it would definitely add an element, right? You're going to plan for it. The analytics are going to change. We're a big, as you guys have heard, right, over time, right, unless we have somebody new in here, Coach Kelly's very data-based within our organization, right? We're very development-oriented, right? We use that from a development standpoint on our player side, right? We also use analytics, right, in terms of in-game. So we're going to continue to do that. And the analytics will change on when you may use timeouts, how you may try to control the ball or whatever that might be in that moment. And we will absolutely, right? We're going to use our brains, and we're going to make sure we use that to our advantage and make sure that it doesn't get used against us. But definitely it will adjust the timeout situation. There's no doubt about it.
Coach, you touched on Garrett Nussmeier a little bit earlier. Mm-hmm. He is accredited a lot of his returning to LSU because of you and said that you were very honest and open with him. How was that conversation for you and just y'all's relationship and the growth that you've seen from him?
The quarterback position. So when I first was in coaching, I coached receivers for several years. And when I was coaching receivers, you get an opportunity within the room to create a room dynamic, and so many guys get to play, right? So it's a lot more about a little bit of what I was talking about with Brad Davis, right, or what Cortez Hankton does with his group and just the dynamic of that unity together because multiple guys are out there at a time, right, and you're building that. The difference in quarterback is you create that unity, right, and that comfortability within the room, but at the same point in time, there's usually only one guy that gets to play. The other guys have to be prepared, right, but it's a little bit of a different role. What I've found through mistakes in my past, right, that I learned from, is honesty and straightforwardness is the best way, right, and that's what we're always going to do within this program. Coach Kelly challenged us. That's what he's all about, right? And we're going to be honest with our players, tell them exactly where they're at, and we're going to give them the tools to where that they can develop and grow, right? And then we're going to motivate them and challenge them and hold them to a standard to do that. Coaching's about relationships and trust. And, Garrett and my conversation back and forth and Coach Kelly's conversation with him and throughout our organization, we're honest with where he was. Excited about the talent and potential that he has and who he is as a player, and I'm assuming he felt himself getting better, right? And he said, "I'm getting better, and I got an opportunity." I think you've heard it. I think this place means a lot to him. His teammates mean a lot to him, and that was important to him. So I'm proud of him for that fact, and proud of how he's worked, and I'm excited for him. But I'll say this. The to add on to that, the camaraderie within that room and the way those guys have worked together and the way Ricky's working and the growth he's had, the way AJ's worked, the growth he's had, the things that we challenged them with after spring, you're continuing to see them elevate. And Colin Hurley with his talent and his intelligence and ability to see things and make decisions, he showed a lot throughout his early time here of really some things for us to be really, really excited about. So I'm proud of all of them and proud of the way that group has worked together. But that's a good question, and it's definitely unique, and his story is different than maybe some others in college football today.
Hey, Joe. Hey, Joe.
Hey, Wilson.
Hey, Joe. With this revamped run game that y'all are had this year, was it a matter of just like taking things out of the playbook and kind of dusting stuff off that was already there, or did you kind of have to really design some things that y'all hadn't had over the last couple of years? And if so, was there anywhere that you looked for inspiration for that?
We had. Right, our playbook has been big since we got here. We can call every play. If you see a play on TV, we could have called it. You know what I mean? In our terminology, right? So our offense had a lot of ability to adjust to what we wanted to do. We had done some of those things in the past, but maybe within game, right? What some of you guys may have seen. You felt like we were leaning more towards one or two schemes or whatever that might have been. So no, we had a lot of those things. I think different sets, and you see different ideas, and you say, hey, that matches what we do, and and you try to build around what you feel like you need, right, to attack a defense. Hey, we need the ability to run the ball vertically. We need the ability to get the ball on the perimeter. We need the ability to attack people in man. We need the ability to push the ball down the field. We need the ability to get the ball right outside, whatever that might be. And then how are we going to do that, right, within our offense? And we had a lot of it there. I think everything is about creating the package that fits us. And, and then we'll attack the defenses that we're going to see, in different kind of ways, right? Obviously, with Coach Baker's defense, we're seeing certain things, right? So we'll lean more towards whatever that might be. But we're going to be able to do whatever we need to do to attack the defense, but yet allow our players to understand what we're doing, right? And be ready to go execute whatever they might see. But the great part is it's not just me by any means. Our offensive staff, the guys in that room, we have the best offensive staff in the country. We have the best offensive staff in the country. And the ideas that they bring to the table and the professionalism at which they do and where they bring ideas maybe from their past or maybe from something that we see. And then the decision-making, right, on what fits us the best, right, and making sure that we let our guys practice that so no matter what they see, they can execute. That's the thing. Jack, you good? We're going back? Circling around. Let's go.
This better be good as the last one.
I'm just
we had
kidding,
like
Jock.
10 yesterday.
Jack, you're good. Don't listen to him. Don't get distracted.
So, Coach Kelly was talking about the wide receivers.
Yes, they're really good.
He said Kyron and CJ and Chris those three were really kind of setting the example out in front. What do you see out of those guys and the whole core?
Well, I'll say this too, though. The level from maybe guys that you haven't talked about, you see elevating. We've had some guys deal, whatever might be. But the guys, when I look at Aaron Anderson and Kyle Parker and the way that they're elevating throughout camp, Shelton Sampson showed a lot of growth at some of his different opportunities, right? And we've talked about Xavier, and we talked about all those different guys, but I think there's more than just those three who have been doing and flashing in different ways. Really excited about, our couple young guys and where they can go. But Kyron, Chris, and CJ played a lot of football. And I think they're definitely showing it. And what they've done is when they have an opportunity to make plays, we've tried to put them in position to do that. And when they've had that opportunity, I think you've seen all three of them kind of rise to the occasion. We'll try to put them in situations where they can succeed. But I think we're definitely we're going to move them around and we're going to be able to attack people in different ways. And I think you've seen that in our past, so that won't change. But I've been really proud of how hard that they've worked. But their work didn't start, a few days ago. Their work started long ago. The consistency at which Kyron's been carrying himself, the growth and maturity, just an unbelievable story, right? And Chris Hilton and everything that he's dealt with in his past from an injury standpoint, and the really complete receiver that he's become. I think you guys saw it in the spring, right? A bunch of stuff that he's able to do. Can't be more excited about him and what he brings to the table. He's special, man. He's elite. And then CJ, the consistency and the understanding and the knowledge of the game and all the different things that he's able to do as a receiver. It's definitely a fun three guys, but I think it goes much deeper than those three. Just excited about that room, excited about the camaraderie they have and how they push each other and how they work, right? And I think you're seeing the level of physicality right in that room continue to elevate. No.
I'll listen to you all day.
See you guys.